During the 80s, the political scene in Suffolk did a complete turnaround. The Democrats won big in 1987. But in today's segment of Long Island, the Decade in Review, Roger Stern reports the Republicans are once again gaining strength.
Patrick Halpin claimed victory, becoming the first Democratic county executive in 16 years. For his party, it was the milestone in a decade that saw Democrats gaining control in what traditionally had been a Republican county. As the GOP found out, having an enrollment edge was not enough when the party was beset by deep rivalries.
It's 10 towns and a balkanized political structure, whether you're talking Democrats or Republicans. Much more difficult to have any semblance of order, leadership, and structure at the county level.
The decade began with Republican Peter Cohalan as county executive, but by his second term, Cohalan was in trouble, undone by Shoreham, the dominant political issue in Suffolk. Cohalan had assumed command of the Shoreham opposition movement, but then in 1985 he did an about-face, announcing that he would cooperate with Loco's evacuation drill.
In that telegram, I asked President Reagan for a strong commitment for the extraordinary resources we will need to develop an adequate and implementable evacuation plan because of Long Island's unique geography.
Shoreham opponents were infuriated, and Cohalan resigned before the end of his term. The county executiveship went to Islip Supervisor Michael LeGrande. But LeGrande had to face voters less than a year after his appointment without time to build a following. And he carried with him the baggage of having been handpicked for his job by Republican leaders. A youthful Patrick Halpin convinced voters that LeGrande was part of a tired old political machine.
And this campaign comes down to whether or not we want to continue the old way of doing things or whether or not we're going to be staking a new course for the future.
Halpin was one of many Democrats to see their careers advance. The party captured half of the seats on the Suffolk legislature, providing the first Democratic legislative presiding officer since the Watergate era. Meanwhile, Robert Mrazek, who himself was a county legislator, was elected to Congress. The legislature, it seems, had become the Democratic Party's farm team, grooming two congressmen and a county executive.
It provided an opportunity for some foundation building, some development of skills, learning how the process works, developing some respect for your colleagues, finding out the best ways to see legislation passed.
Another Democrat, George Hochbruckner, also went to Congress, beating a pro-Shoreham conservative. By the end of the decade, Suffolk's entire congressional delegation was Democratic. But back on the island, the party ran into problems. In the first year of the Halpin administration, county taxes went up by 1/3 for many residents, and Republicans declared war on the man they called Tax Hike Halpin. Republicans had success with their tax revolt strategy. Republican candidates won enough seats to regain majority control of the county legislature. Patrick Halpin now runs the very real risk of being a one-term county executive. But this is just the middle of his term, and he still has 2 years to save both his own political future and the Democratic Party's. In Hauppauge, Roger Stern, News 12, Long Island.
And in tomorrow's edition of Long Island, the Decade in Review, Rosemary Gomez takes a look at the challenges the medical community on Long Island faced over the past 10 years.